6 months ago, I was living alone on a more or less deserted island in Thailand, spending 98% of my time on my own. It was a beautiful quarantine experience. It was really important for me emotionally to take that time to self-isolate. But like many of you, I was feeling lonely. I think one of the common mistakes people make when it comes to entering a relationship is, number one, as soon as I'm in a relationship, then my problems will go away. It's not coming from the best place. It's always in those moments where we're like, I don't need no man. My life is great on its own. That's when we find the ideal partner, because relationships aren't meant to fix us. Relationships are meant to be about two whole, complete people who find each other and enter each other's lives in order to make their lives better in a way. The other common mistake that people make is thinking, I would only date a person if they had this career or this quality. And what that does is it limits us, but also oftentimes what we actually need is different than what we think we need or what we want. So I made this exercise while I was in quarantine as a way for me to explore, what is it that I'm trying to get out of a relationship? How can I start to give that to myself so that when I do find my dream partner, I'm already the person that I want to be, and it's not about I'm looking for someone to fix my problems or I'm looking for someone to add something missing into my life, but rather I'm a whole complete person on my own and I'm with someone because I want to be with them. I invite you to pull out a pen and paper, and it should only take a few minutes to go through this, and hopefully out of it you can really start to explore the inner workings of your desires around relationships. This is about how to make you the best version of you for you, and also maybe for someone else when the time is right. And again, for all of you skeptics out there, I did this myself and now I have a partner. It works. Probably. It works 60% of the time, 100% of the time. So go ahead and get yourself nice and comfortable. I'm in my bed, and pull out your favorite notebook and open up to a blank page. And here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and make 4 quadrants. How about that? I'm not like a geometrician here, but just divide it into 4 like this. And here's what I want you to do. Take a minute to think about what are the top 4 reasons you want to be in a relationship. Maybe it's you want someone who makes you laugh. Maybe it's because you want to cuddle. So go ahead and take a minute, pause the video, and think about what are your top 4 reasons you want to be in a relationship. Go. Are you doing it? So I'm going to share with you the exact same exercise that I did, I guess like 9 months ago now, that got me to where I am. So here are my top 4. Totally honestly, I'm giving you the real me, like it or hate it. So my 4 are, number 1, someone to share life experiences with. I think this is like a good reason to be in a relationship, is to have a person that you can be like, oh, remember that time. Number 2 is sex. I think that's fair. Normal one. Number 3 is someone who can make mundane things into something exciting and joyful. And number 4, someone who helps me be my best. When I have someone who holds me accountable, someone who's expecting the most of me, that I tend to put more of myself into the things that I'm doing. For part 2 of the exercise, I want you to write down what is the underlying feeling that you want to get out of that quality or out of that experience. This is something that I talk about a lot in my videos. Rather than setting a specific goal, I want to do this thing, or I want to have this thing. Think about what is the feeling I want to get when I get that thing, so that we have the chance to be open to what experiences the universe will provide for us. So go ahead and take a minute, pause the video again, and for each of your 4 things, write down what is the underlying feeling. When I get that thing, how do I want to feel? Okay, you got it? I'm going to share with you mine. Ready? So, under shared experiences, I want to feel connection. I want to feel companionship. I don't really know if you can feel companionship. I might be cheating a little bit. For sex, I put physical satisfaction. For, what did I say? Make mundane things joyful. I put gratitude, joy, and awe. And lastly, help me be my best. I want to feel a sense of pride in myself. I want to feel a sense of accomplishment. Now for the fun part. For each of those 4 feelings, I want you to make a list of things that you can do for yourself that will give you that feeling. So the more that we can create the life that we want and create the me that I want to be, number 1, the happier I am. Number 2, the better I feel about my life. And number 3, because I'm happy and I feel good about my life, I am therefore a better potential partner for other people. And we're always attracted to someone who seems confident, who seems independent, who seems like they're living their best life. That's what we all want in a partner. So go ahead and take a minute, write down as many bullet points as you can for each of those, and that's gonna become our to-do list. I'm gonna share with you my actual list that I made when I was alone in quarantine and talk to you about how I was even trapped alone in a home on a deserted island, I was able to help myself experience these feelings that I really wanted to get. So for my first one, shared experiences, I put the feeling I wanted to get was connection. How do I get connection if I'm alone on a deserted island in a foreign country? Number 1, grow existing relationships. I took the time every day to talk to one of my friends or family members from back home. I think we forget that a lot of these things that we want out of relationships, we can get out of platonic relationships as well. And for me, I have some of the most amazing people in my life. So rather than looking outside of that to feel this sense of connection, to feel less lonely, I would rather harness those relationships in whatever ways that I can. Join a group or a club. There are tons of online communities, online yoga communities, online meditation communities, book clubs, that you can connect with new people who are like-minded to you. Also, journaling and alone time. Connection is something that we should feel within ourselves first before we look for it outside of ourselves. It's the only way that I can really feel good about my time with other people. Under sex, I put physical satisfaction. Okay, first one's kind of a cop-out, exercise. Of course, exercise just makes you feel good. I put masturbate. There's sometimes a guilt around that, and I think in our culture, we're taught that touching ourselves is a bad thing for some reason. When we're alone and we want pleasure, we have the ability to give that to ourselves. And it doesn't hurt anyone in any way, so why not just do it? The other thing is just take the time to learn about your own sexuality, your sexual identity, and explore that. I think there are lots of ways through fetish communities, different types of sexuality. There's a massive spectrum. I think the more that we can be open and explore that for ourselves, the more confident and comfortable we become in our sexuality. And I think that's a beautiful gift to give to any partner, is experience and confidence in our sexuality. Under make mundane things joyful, I put gratitude, joy, and awe. This is something, if you watch my 10 steps to make yourself happier now video, I don't know where it goes. I talk about this a lot more in depth, but for now I'll talk about practicing mindfulness is something I will always continue to go back to when it comes to the ability to enjoy the present moment more. Mindfulness is the best way to achieve this. Also, forest bathing, spending time in nature, doing that outside, gives us a lot of joy and a sense of deep connection to the current moment. Meditation, again, and for me specifically, I started exploring non-dualism. It's something I'll get into more in the future. It's a really beautiful way of existing in this world, and it really helped define who I am as a person now. Also, treat yourself. If there are ways that you know how to make yourself happy, I talk about this in my other videos as well, just do it. And the last one is fake it till you make it. There's something really profound about the idea of faking happiness. It feels very forced, but when we practice feeling the feelings that we want to feel, it becomes easier over time. Even now, like for example, in Thailand, we get monsoons often and very randomly, and sometimes I'll be driving my scooter and suddenly it will just start pouring rain on me, and I'll literally, as I drive, scream, "This is fine! I love this! I am very happy right now." So it's that idea of like, even if it feels absurd, that if we fake finding joy in these moments that we wouldn't normally find joy in, eventually we kind of do. We start feeling it and it becomes an honest feeling. And lastly, help me be my best. I put a sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment. I'm like, I'm in quarantine. There are things I've always wanted to do that I've always wanted to learn. So I just need to set these goals, and then I need to get an accountability buddy. I need to collaborate with someone. And this also gives me a deeper sense of connection and helps me build deeper relationships. I signed up for an online guitar class and started learning guitar. I downloaded Duolingo and started learning a foreign language, and I would practice with the people around me because I happen to have Spanish people in quarantine with me, like my editor. So it became this really cool exercise that helped me become the person that I want to be. Which brings me to my last point, is build a life around who you want to be. They talk about this a lot, that if you want to be in a relationship, you can't have a twin bed. It's very unlikely that you are going to end up with your ideal partner if you're not your ideal self. And it makes sense. Of course, we can meet someone and see potential in them, but how often do we get into these relationships based on potential, and then we end up waiting for this person to change, and it's very rare that people do. For me, what that meant was, number one, growing in these ways that I wanted to grow. Number two, getting to a point where I felt confident emotionally to invest myself into another person. I needed to go somewhere that had potential partners. And I found an island where I am now, Koh Phangan, that's specifically known for its spiritual community, for its yoga community, for its outdoors, sports, and its nature. And I thought, here's a place that's full of people that have similar interests to me. And I kid you not, I met my partner 4 days after coming here. 4 days. There was no getting to know you process. We immediately felt connected. And now here we are living together, and we have this beautiful life together. Of course, there are still challenges. Of course, we still have things to learn about ourselves and ways to grow. And in every new relationship we enter, we learn more about who we are, because people are mirrors. People reflect different things in ourselves. And the right relationship is finding someone who reflects the things that we want to see in ourselves, who bring out the best in us, right? I invite you to really take the time to go through this exercise, to give yourself the gift of growth. And I guarantee, as soon as you feel, I feel amazing about myself, I don't even need a partner because I'm so happy with the way my life is right now. This is exactly how I want to live my life. That's when the right person will come along. Please, for you, a gift for you, live your dream life. Give yourself the gift of growth. Give yourself the gift of self-reflection, of loving yourself. When the time comes, you'll be ready. So from me and from Batman, mustachioed Batman, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this journey towards self-growth, this journey of self-growth. I don't know what I'm talking about. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-growth and self-discovery. It's a beautiful gift to be able to share this with you. It's something that really changed my life, and hopefully will change yours. If you have any comments, any feedback, any experiences that happen out of this, please share it in the comments. Hopefully you get some big successes, some big wins, some beautiful relationships, including with yourself, out of this. And until next time, I'm Daniel Sherman, and this is How Is This Real Life? How is this real life? This is my hot French girlfriend, Sophie. She's a yoga teacher in case you want to do yoga. I'll send you a link, but she's great. Hi, Sophie. Whoa. Wait, no, scrap all of this. No, never mind.